In the world of factory-built off-road performance-oriented trucks, the Ford F-150 Raptor is the OG. What essentially started out as an experiment for Ford back in 2008 quickly became a segment that every other truck manufacturer wanted to play in. Now, Ram has been in that space for about 5 years with the original TRX, or some enthusiasts like to call it the Raptor-eating T-Rex. It instantly got a cult following thanks to its Hellcat-powered supercharged V8 and off-road goodies that essentially made it as good, if not better, versus a Raptor whenever you found less pavement out in front of you. Now, of course, just like the T-Rex, the TRX became extinct for 2024. So for 2025, what you're looking at right here is its replacement. This is the 2025 Ram 1500 RHO. RHO essentially stands for Ram High Output. It gets all of the off-road goodies from the TRX. However, underneath the hood, we have a brand new twin turbocharged 3-liter Hurricane Inline 6 delivering up to 540 horsepower. So today, as you can see, we are actually out here in Johnson Valley, California, just outside of Joshua Tree, probably the best off-road oriented park where you can take a truck like this. And the big question I want answered for those of you who essentially had your eye on a TRX, but you want something that's also a lot more affordable, has Ram managed to successfully capture the spirit of the T-Rex in this new RHO? Stay tuned to find out. So before we start talking about the new Ram RHO, how could we not talk about this beautiful, gorgeous backdrop behind us? Rob and I have been doing these videos for a few years, and to be honest, we've never seen such a historic and beautiful background to film a truck like this. But again, welcome to Johnson Valley, California. This is Johnson Valley Off-Road Park. It's about 3 hours just outside of Los Angeles. So again, this is a wonderful place to show off the capabilities and the beauty of this brand new Ram RHO. Now, first of all, when you look at the styling of this vehicle, we'll talk about that in just a moment. What you're going to notice right away, however, is that hood scoop on the hood. That is actually a functional air intake there. It essentially creates a factory cold air intake. There's also the trademark 3 LED lights in there. That's because this is one of the widest new trucks you can buy at 88 inches wide. It's about 6 inches wider than the standard Ram. But RHO stands for Ram High Output. So let's go ahead and talk about the powertrain, because that's kind of what made the old TRX extremely special. Now, Ram basically told us several times that the RHO is not supposed to be a direct replacement for the TRX, and that's because the TRX had a supercharged 6.2-liter Hellcat V8 making over 700 horsepower. This powertrain is obviously a lot less powerful, but it's also still got a lot of impressive technology and impressive power outputs underneath here as well, because this is the new 3-liter twin turbocharged double overhead cam Hurricane Inline 6. So you guys have seen us shown you this powertrain in the refreshed Ram for 2025. This essentially comes standard with the high output version. Obviously, you can buy a lower output version if you guys look at the Rebel, you look at the Warlock trim. However, in this truck, it still makes the same 540 horsepower and 521 pound-feet of torque. Now, those power figures are the same as other versions of this powertrain, even though we do have, again, that factory cold air intake. We have a freer flowing exhaust system. Ram says that it essentially increases the mid-range grunt of this truck. We'll talk about that later on when we get into the driving scene. It all goes out through an 8-speed automatic transmission. That's a ZF built transmission, of course, beefed up to handle the off-road capabilities of the RHO. It also includes a launch control feature. And fuel economy, this is where things get interesting, because I actually managed to find 2 different numbers for the fuel economy. Now, what Ram says on their website is 15 in the city and 21 on the highway. However, I also saw another number that showed 14 city, 16 highway. I suspect it's actually the lower number because this is the more off-road oriented trim, about 15 mpg combined. You have a 33-gallon fuel tank, and that's, of course, on premium gas, because this is the high output version. You're looking at around 400-ish miles of range on a full tank on premium fuel. Now, despite the fact that this truck has a lot less power than the TRX, about 160-ish less horsepower, it does get to 60, Ram says, in about 4.6 seconds. In fact, compared to its rivals, I'm talking about the regular Ford F-150 Raptor, the Toyota Tundra TRD Pro, and the Silverado ZR2 Bison, this has the most power in the segment. The only thing that's more powerful than it is, of course, the Raptor R, which has the supercharged V8. Although Ram has basically hinted that the TRX will eventually come back, and perhaps it'll have an electrified version of this powertrain. Now, top speed is around 118 miles an hour, and this is still a pickup truck. It can tow a maximum of 8,300 pounds. It's around 280-ish pounds more versus the old TRX. Payload capacity is around 1,500 pounds. Again, it's a little bit more than the TRX, and this truck, it's big, it's heavy, it's really wide, it has all that off-road equipment. As this truck sits, it weighs in at just over 6,200 pounds, around 400 pounds heavier versus a high trim limited or tungsten trim if you guys are looking at the non-off-road oriented variant. So let me go ahead and close up the hood here. and talk about the exterior styling. Now, this particular color that we're showing you is the bright white clear coat. I apologize for how dirty the truck is. Obviously, we had to drive through the desert to get to this beautiful location to film. But as you can see here, if you guys like the styling of the TRX, you're gonna also love the styling of this. You can see all the Ram 1500s got an update for 2025. You have that Ram flow-through grille here with the Ram boldly being spelled out in the front grille. You have these satin black accents here in the grille, which is good because if you're off-roading, if this was gloss black, it would get scratched up. It would also look like crap after a few years if you guys off-roaded all the time. You can see the headlights, full LEDs. They have a new design to them. They also have the LED walk up and walk away animation lighting. You can see the LED headlights have a really cool like a detail where it almost has like a 3D effect for the daytime running light. You have an LED turn signal, LED low and high beams. You also have LED fog lights down there at the lower fascia. And then you can see here as well, you have these nice recovery tow hooks, although I'm surprised they're not painted in red or orange. And I'm surprised also they're not beefier, but again, this is a relatively clean look. There's your sensors and cameras, of course, for the full 360 camera, the adaptive cruise control. This truck also comes with Ram's hands-free driving. It's the first like super wide body off-road oriented truck that you can get with a true hands-free drive effect. You also have skid plates, bash plates underneath. There's a total of 11.8 inches of ground clearance on this truck, which is the most that you can get on a Ram for now, at least. Remember, this truck's suspension is an adaptive Bilstein Blackhawk suspension system. So it's not the air spring suspension that you get from other versions of the Ram. And again, that's for durability. That's to give us the most performance off-road when you guys are, in terrain like this. Now moving around the side profile, just like the TRX, this truck is only available in the crew cab short bed configuration. So you have the 4 full-size doors. It's a body-on-frame design. It's been on the market since 2019, part of the 5th generation Ram, but this is just, again, a heavy refresh. You have the shorter 5'7" bed. And then of course, in terms of the wheels, all RHOs come with essentially the same wheels that we saw from the old TRX. They're an 18-inch wheel. There's a standard gloss or flat black designed wheel, but these are the optional for around $1,800 18-inch wheel with a beadlock capable design. So you can actually pull these off and create a beadlock capable wheel. You have a 35-inch tall Goodyear Wrangler all-terrain tire. So it's a full all-terrain wrapped in a 325 by 65 R18. Now this is where the Raptor can be available with a 37-inch tall tire, but I'm assuming Ram will eventually offer that option as well. Like I said earlier, up to 11.8 inches of ground clearance. You have 13 inches of suspension travel at the front, even more, about 14 inches of suspension travel in the rear. You have all independence, or you have a independent front, solid axle at the back. Remember, it's got those new Bilstein Blackhawk shocks, which again, the suspension in this truck has been tuned specifically for the RHO, and that's because it has less weight over the front. Because remember, that Hellcat V8 was a heavy motor, it was a nose heavy design. And with that twin-turbo inline 6, it's a little bit lighter. It's got a little bit better weight distribution. So Ram was able to kind of tune the suspension specifically for this truck, and which we'll talk about later on during the driving scene. You can see big mirrors here. You can also get it with tow mirrors, which have a power folding feature. I love the fact that there's no chrome. It's all kind of like a glossy black or a flat black design. You can see there's also black for the door handles. You can also get this truck with a big panoramic glass sunroof. That's part of a $1,500 option that my test car is missing. I highly would recommend getting that feature. It'll allow the interior to have more light because you can only get this truck with a black interior, which I wish that Ram would offer it with like a red interior. It would look fantastic with this white exterior. And you can see over here, my test truck here has the graphics package, which looks great with the bright white clear coat with the kind of satin black where it says RHO. You also have this little fold down step right here. If you want to get into the bed for somebody shorter like myself, it allows you to kind of step in and kind of allow you to kind of show or get into the actual truck bed a little easier. I'll have to figure out how that closes in a second. In terms of the actual styling at the rear, you can see traditional stuff here from the TRX kind of carries over. Obviously, instead of TRX badging, it says RHO. I like how Ram is also spelled out boldly on the actual tailgate in a satin black design. The taillights also look pretty much the same. They're a full LED design. Then you can see down here on the rear bumper, it is actually a metal bumper, which is nice. It also is a flat black painted, or it's unpainted, so it's gonna be good if you guys plan to go off-roading. And then you can see here the dual exhaust system, really large black oval tips. And Ram says they've tuned the exhaust on this truck to be a little bit more throaty. Let's go ahead and fire it up so you guys can hear how it sounds real quick. Now, Now, when I had the Ram Limited with this Hurricane Inline 6, I thought the engine was a little too quiet. Obviously, the RHO fixes that. It still could be a little bit louder, but we'll talk about the sound of the engine a little bit more during the driving scene. Now, I managed to figure out how to close this damn step right here. So to close it, you actually have to kick it at a certain angle there, and you can see, just kind of push it there. That'll close it for you. Now, in terms of the truck bed, my particular test car has the power opening and closing tailgate. Now, that is part of a $10,000 level 1 upgrade package, but as you can see here, with the 5'7" long bed with the power tailgate, the spray-in bed liner, it certainly is a usable bed, although it doesn't have some of the features you might find in a Raptor, for example. There are some nice touches in here, like some LED lighting. You have a 115 volt outlet over here that offers up to 400 watts. You also have some nice tie-down hooks and recovery areas here, but the bed can actually carry up to 1,520 pounds of payload. Now, this particular one here drops that a little bit to around 1,200 pounds, and that's because of the extra equipment that essentially the RHO level 1 package offers you. But overall, as you can see, if you guys require more space, most trucks in this segment, the off-road oriented segment, pretty much offer the standard 5'7" long bed. Now, moving on to the interior for this 2025 Ram RHO. Now, because this is just a heavy refresh, the interior should look pretty familiar to you, but there are a couple of changes that Ram has made for... What the fuck? There's a bee! It's a fucking bee! Oh, of course there's a bee. Of course. Now, moving on to the interior of this Ram RHO. Now, because this is just a pretty mild refresh, the interior should look pretty familiar to you. However, Ram has made some changes for 2025, especially if you guys really like technology. Now, first of all, this interior, I hope you guys like black, because Ram only offers the RHO with a black interior. You can also get it with a black interior with a contrast red stitch for an extra $1,500. My test car obviously doesn't have that. It just has the contrast silver or gray stitching with the suede Alcantara. These seats adjust in 23 different ways, and you also have a massage function. The massage function is on both the front seats. They're also heated and ventilated, and you also get a 2-person memory function on the driver's side. These seats are essentially part of a RHO level 1 upgrade package that it's for $10,000. It includes those heated and ventilated and massaging seats, a couple of other extra goodies that we'll talk about later on. Now, in terms of the door panels, you can see Ram essentially set the benchmark high for luxury when they first introduced this truck in 2019. You have some real leather stitching over the upper door panel here. You have some genuine carbon fiber trim. That's also part of that RHO level 1 upgrade package. You have the suede Alcantara. You also have a 19-speaker Harman Kardon stereo. That's part of that level 1 upgrade package. It sounds good if you guys are an audiophile. You have some aluminum or chrome accented door handles here. Nice padded leather over here. Lots of storage again in the door pockets, although these lower panels here are hard touch plastic. And then the 2 front windows are 1-touch up and down. The rears, however, are not 1-touch down or up. So I think that's a little bit of an annoying omission considering the price tag of this vehicle, but overall, it certainly makes a great first impression. I just want Ram to offer this with a lighter color interior or a red interior. I think that would look fantastic in this white exterior color combination. Now, getting inside, there aren't really any retractable running boards here. You just have these kind of rock rails, which you can kind of use as a step rail, but it's a little bit on the narrow side. So for short people like myself, you pull that little handle and kind of hoist yourself in, but once you get into the truck, the door, as you can hear, had a pretty solid sounding thunk. And here is the key fob for the vehicle. You can see it has an RHO badge there in red to let you know you have a special truck. It's their intelligent access key, their latest key system. You can see it has the usual buttons here for unlock, lock, power lift or power open for the tailgate, remote start, and panic. Ram also introduced a phone as a key feature that's new for 2025. So if you're an owner, you can actually start this vehicle up and you can actually remotely access it through your smartphone. Now, starting the vehicle up, you can see start stop button is located here. It's also in red. And this is not a mild hybrid or a hybrid at all. So it has that very traditional starter noise. And the engine itself, when it first starts up, doesn't really sound all that special. I'm actually surprised. But it does actually have a decent limiter sound when you're bouncing off the limiter. We'll talk about more about the engine when we go out into the driving scene. Now, in terms of the rest of the dash, you can see it looks pretty much the same as the pre-refreshed Ram. The big change you're going to notice is the larger infotainment system. This is the upgraded 14.5-inch Uconnect 5 infotainment system. It's an upgrade versus the 12-inch display that you get as standard equipment. So the smaller display obviously has been deleted, and you also got a fully digital instrument cluster here behind the steering wheel. And as you can also see, the instrument panel or the instrument cluster is also customizable. You can show your vehicle information. information. You can show your performance apps here. You can show a trip information, navigation, off-road pages, a trailer tow page, an audio information page. So it's a pretty good instrument panel display, not as intricate as some of the other competitors I've seen, but Ram has made some updates to it that also make it feel a lot more modern. If you guys are also noticing in the big center screen, there's a refresh rate issue here between our camera and the actual display. So it looks a little bit odd, but that's not actually what it looks like in person. You can see there, that's with the Apple CarPlay connected, wireless Apple CarPlay, wireless Android Auto. It has over-the-air updates. Uconnect 5, to me, was one of the best softwares that you could find in the industry, although I will say that there are times where I'm noticing the Uconnect 5 software lags, especially at the initial startup point. I just spent a week with this truck, not this particular truck, but a limited, and I definitely liked Uconnect 5, but I definitely also think there's room for improvement in terms of software updates. Now, as you can see, it's relatively easy to kind of navigate the screens here. There's all your different widgets down here. There's a dedicated home page. You can see there's media, navigation, the built-in GPS, which is nice. You can also go to a vehicle page here where you can access the cameras. You can see there's a surround view camera system, which is very useful when you're off-roading, although I am a little disappointed at how little real estate the screen is actually used when you have it in the full 360. You can see there's several different screens where you can actually pull up different views. You can also go into a bed view or a front camera view. You can also, looks like, plug in auxiliary cams. You can go into a more cam view over here as well with your surround view and whatnot. So the resolution and quality is good. Sometimes I noticed it lags at times, but the size of the screen is one of the largest in the segment. Ram actually says there's a total of 50 inches of total screen real estate here, but that's of course if you add in all the screens. There's also a new passenger display over here, which when you turn it on, I actually can't see it from my side because there's like an anti-viewing filter from the driver's side. But from the passenger side here, it's a 10.3-inch display. You can essentially connect it to an HDMI where you can watch movies. You can also access the GPS and audio in the center screen over here and kind of forward it from here over into the center screen. So that's all very nice. In terms of the rest of the dashboard materials, just like on the door panels, there's real leather stitching here. Across the entire upper portion of the dash. There's also a beautiful Alcantara trim here, which is nice. More leather stitching here and on this lower portion. I love the fact that Ram also includes lots of actual hard buttons. So you can see there's two knobs here for tuning and for volume. Your climate controls are these actual hard buttons to the side of the actual screen, which is nice. You also have your four-wheel drive selector over here. There's a launch control feature. And then of course your drive mode selector is here where you can basically cycle between your different drive modes. I did notice, however, when I'm cycling between the drive modes, it's a little bit slow to respond. You can see there's a rock, there's a Baja mode, a mud and sand mode, a sport mode, but I do find that the software behind it is a little bit too laggy and slow, especially if you're trying to adjust your drive mode in a pinch, if you're trying to do it really quickly. My test truck also has a heads-up display that's included as part of that RHO upgrade level 1 package, along with the digital camera review mirror. This is definitely a great feature if you guys basically plan on carrying lots of people and stuff in the back. This essentially allows you to have an unobstructed view out of the rear of the truck, which is important because it's a big truck. It's 88 inches wide, and you're gonna feel that width when you're going down the road because it takes up basically most of the lane. So that's something you have to get used to. In terms of down here, Ram has added two wireless phone charging pads. So there's one on the passenger and one on the driver's side. If you basically just move the phone over here, you can see that will activate the wireless charger. You have your trailer brake controller over here. You have, it looks like a total of 6 USB charging ports, an A and a C. You have an aux port, and then you have an HDMI port, of course, for the passenger display. Your auto start stop defeat is located here along with your hill descent control. And then you can also see the center console has a pretty good amount of storage. This controls your 8-speed automatic. There is a sport mode in the transmission along with the manual mode here, in addition to the manual mode here on the steering wheel. The steering wheel, by the way, also I noticed is just a manual tilt and telescoping. You can get a power tilt telescoping wheel on other trims like the Tungsten, or I believe the Ram Limited had the power tilt telescoping system. You can also see there's a little camera display there that watches your face. That's part of the hands-free driving assist you can get on the highway. This is the first wide-body off-road performance-oriented truck from the factory where you can get a true hands-free driving capability. I've had a chance to test it in the limited Ram 1500. It actually works pretty well. Not quite as good as Super Cruise, but on par with Ford's Blue Cruise system. Now, as you can see over here, large center console with real leather stitching. Of course, you have some Alcantara, this nice little placard to let you know you have something special. It also tells you the horsepower. It tells you the maximum boost pressure at 28 PSI. It shows the VIN. So that's a cool little placard there. If you open this up, you can see there's actually 2 different levels of storage. Another USB charging port in here, which is nice. If I push this little thing here, you can see it's a pretty deep storage area. You also have another power outlet, a household power outlet here, which is nice. Decent amount of storage in here. as well, so that's good for hiding some items, obviously, if you want to keep them away from praying eyes. Above me, you can see no sunroof on my test truck. You can get it for $1,500, but without it, there's a ton of headroom space, which is fantastic. You have LED map lighting here, of course. You can also open and close that rear window behind Rob, as you can see, if you want to open that up to let in some more fresh air. That's a really nice feature. Although, if you guys remember, the Toyota Tundra TRD Pro has a complete roll-down rear window. That's a unique feature that only the Toyota has, if you guys really want that. The glove compartment, you can see, is damped but not lined with felt. It's a bin style. It's not the largest glove compartment, but you have additional storage throughout the truck here in the center console. But overall, the interior materials certainly feel the best in the class. Build quality is also strong. We didn't hear a single squeak and rattle in this truck on our drive out here. And I have to say, in terms of technology, Ram has certainly upped the game here. I just want them to offer a little bit more interior colors to make this interior feel warmer. However, you can get that, of course, if you guys go for the more luxury-oriented limited or tungsten trim levels. Now, moving to the back seat of the new Ram RHO, if you guys want to use this as a family vehicle, this is where the Ram essentially offers the most legroom you're going to find in the class. Now, in the full-size pickup truck segment, there's usually over 40 inches of legroom. It's a ton of space. However, in the Ram, you actually get up to 45 inches of legroom. So again, this has roughly 2 to 3 more inches of legroom versus a lot of its competitors from Ford, from GM, and of course Toyota with the new Tundra. So this is, again, the biggest back seat you're going to find in the segment, and it really gives you cavernous limousine-like levels of space back here. Now, to get back here, obviously there's a nice little grab handle to help short people like myself get in. And as you can see, once you're inside, there's actually a ton of space. Let me go ahead and close the door here. The door has a nice solid sounding thunk, and as you can see, the material quality here is also carried over. So you have the beautiful leather stitching here, you have the real carbon fiber, you have the Alcantara here, you have some chrome accented or dark chrome accented door handles, padded leather over here. The one thing this truck is missing is no retractable shades. I would like to see that, especially at this price point. I believe the tungsten trim has that. Well, it would be nice if Ram included that. You can see as well, this seat also will flip up, which is nice. You can store a few things underneath here away from prying eyes, which is a great feature. If you want to pull this back down, you can see pull that. There's also a nice little feature where this back seat also offers a recline function. So if you guys want to take a nap back here, you can actually pull this out and it actually will give you a decent recline. This is the only truck in the segment, I believe, that offers that feature. But again, if you sit upright, you can see tons of space for me to stretch out. I can easily cross my legs back here. You also have tons of features as well. You have 2 rear seat air vents, which is nice. You have heated and ventilated second row seats. Again, that's included when you guys go for that RHO Level 1 upgrade package. You have 4 USB charging ports, an A and a C. You have more carbon fiber, genuine carbon fiber cup holders here. You also have your power outlet here, which is a nice touch. And then of course there's 2 storage cubbies over here in each of the front seat backs. And then if you want to pull on this little strap here, you can see this folds down the center area here where you have a nice padded armrest, more cup holders, and additional storage, although it's a little bit on the shallow side. But overall, again, this truck is so wide, and it also offers a ton of headroom space that you can easily fit 3 full-size adults back here in complete comfort. So here we are finally behind the wheel of the new Ram RHO, and we're actually going to start off the driving scene off pavement. As you can also see, Rob is the one who is driving because he really enjoys this kind of driving, and he also gets car sick. So I figured I'd let him do the driving, and we'll do
a nice guy.
I'll do the talking, but we'll get the truck out on the road later on.
He would have too.
Yes, he will go faster. Just don't kill us. I'll be switching with him later on when we go out on the road. So we're going across this dry lake bed.
It took us a good, what, 40 minutes to get here even?
Yeah, and we haven't actually gone across it yet. So Rob, I guess is it our turn to go?
Well, I want to wait till the dust clears just a little bit more, because I don't want to drive 90 miles an hour into a cloud of dust. It's extremely dry out here. They said it hasn't rained in a while, but let's give it a shot.
Okay. Yeah, we are in 4-wheel drive auto, and they have us in Baja mode.
Okay.
Yep.
Here we go. Oh, what the hell? Come on, truck. There we are.
Okay, so I can sort of see. Oh. Oh my goodness.
Definitely pulling at the wheel.
Okay. Okay, that's 100 miles an hour. Don't kill us, Rob. Remember, there's a 5-foot wall at the end of this. Okay, that's good. It's like, Rob, that's enough. You're gonna kill me. I'm getting scared, Rob. Okay, yes. 113 miles an hour out in this dry lake.
Could have gone faster than that. Look at this. We got plenty of time.
The one thing I'm noticing right away is just how smooth this thing is.
It was smooth as hell.
It rides so incredibly smooth over this, and that's because of the Bilstein Blackhawk shocks, like the big tall tires. Like, this thing just feels like you're on pavement, to be honest. It's incredible to me how smooth this thing feels. And the power from that straight six is impressive too.
I mean, it pulled all the way till what? That was 115, 120, something.
Yes.
100 and
I'm literally, I've got sweaty palms here because I'm fearing for my life. I was like, please don't crash.
But it's designed to do it. It's
Yes,
designed to do it.
Yes, it is.
Okay.
All right, so now that we made it to the dry lake bed, we wanted to do a quick 0 to 60 test, and this truck does come with launch control. To engage the launch control, Rob's gonna hit that launch button there. You just have to hit it once, launch control enabled, and now you're basically gonna make sure the wheel is straight. You're gonna brake torque it, and let's go ahead and see what we can get, shall we, Rob?
Ready?
Yep.
All right, 60.
There we go. Oof.
That was a lot more of an aggressive one.
Just, if you want, maybe leave like a minute gap, 45-second gap to get some gas to settle.
So 5.08 seconds.
All right, so yeah, we got 0 to 60 in 5.08 seconds. Now Ram says 4.6. We are at about 2,500 feet above sea level, so we'll have to wait until we get one back home to test out a proper 0 to 60 time at sea level, but still 5.08 is pretty quick, and to be honest, it's only about a half a second slower than what Ram quoted on the old TRX with its supercharged V8.
45 to where we were.
All right, we're gonna try one more launch here. Launch control enabled. Brake torque it. Oof, there we go.
Although it's short shifted kind of early.
A little bit.
Oof. Okay, 5.63 seconds there, so a little bit slower versus the 5.08 that we got the first time around, but now we're kind of coming up on this gravelly area of the off-road park. We kind of left the dry lake bed, and they basically told us that this is where you could hit higher speeds, and they said go as fast as you're going to be comfortable going. Rob's going about 60 miles an hour right now, and
How fast is Rob going?
he's going too fast right now, so don't kill us, please. But yeah, so yes, this is where we can really test out the high-speed capabilities of the Ram TRX, and you can feel that suspension really hugging and just absorbing the bumps. How does the truck feel to you, Rob? Stable, secure?
It feels secure. You can definitely feel that the steering is a little bit less accurate than you would like here.
Of course.
I mean, when you lose a little bit of suspension travel in the front, when you go over a bump, it's a little bit scary, but it's fun still. It plants itself right back down.
Yes, I mean, this is the kind of off-roading that Ram has designed this truck to do. It can take jumps, it can go high speeds like this. We're in Baja mode right now, and the engine just has plenty of power, lots of torque.
Yep.
It sounds good, it just needs to be a little bit louder. I want a little bit more bark from that engine.
We can hear from the outside a truck in front of us crack some popples, but
Ooh, slow down a second here. Oh God.
what are they doing?
I don't know, but
Bye.
I guess
my
my
truck. Where's the rest of them?
I don't know.
But no, this is fun. I could do this all day long because it's so comfortable. As soon as you get confident with the truck, as soon as you actually feel like you know what you're doing, which just takes a little bit of practice, honestly.
And I will say that the seats are comfortable, but I do wish they had a little bit more lateral support. I would find myself kind of flailing around, but I'm also sitting here getting a massage, which is really nice.
You are, I'm not. Give me a massage, hold on. Yes, we're both not fat enough to be comfortable in these seats, so
Yes, they're very set for wide people, so for somebody who's of average size, you kind of find yourself flailing around in the seat. I'm sitting here grabbing onto the grab handle, but hey, this truck just eats it all up. This pavement is designed exactly for the suspension and the tires of this thing, and I'm impressed. This is an awesome truck, just right off the factory showroom floor, and it definitely feels a step above what you're going to get from like a Chevy Silverado ZR2 or the Toyota Tundra TRD Pro. This is, again, Ram's true competitor to the Raptor, the regular Raptor, obviously. The TRX is a Raptor R competitor, so we'll have to wait and see if the, oh my God, Rob. Don't kill us, Rob. Okay. Yeah, so we're gonna get this thing back on the pavement, hopefully not kill us, Rob. Oh my God. So,
on the pavement, you'll be happy and I can go to sleep.
Yes. So here we are back on the pavement in the 2025 Ram RHO. This is arguably where most people are going to spend their time driving this new truck, even though it is absolutely a beast off the road. This is where Ram says they've also made some improvements to make this truck more livable in day-to-day driving. Now, I do want to test out the 0 to 60 one more time. I also do want to point out as well, we have the tires inflated to around 28 PSI, so they're not quite at the 38 that they're supposed to be in, but let's go ahead and try the 0 to 60 run here. First thing you want to do is let's get it out on the road. You want to activate the launch control, which you just push this button here. right, we got 5.25 seconds there. Now that's with it more going slightly uphill, but our quickest run we got was 5.08 earlier today out on that dry lake bed. I'll eventually get one of these trucks back home to test for a full week, and we'll do a proper 0 to 60 test on our usual stretch of road. I also want to point out that the tires are a little deflated right now, and that's why you're going to hear a little bit more noise coming through. But out here on the pavement, this is where you're going to notice the extra width of the RHO. I mean, this is essentially the same 88 inches wide, not including the side mirrors, so it really takes up a massive portion of the road here. But the one thing I also want to mention is the ride quality of this truck is just really nice. I mean, we have these massive 35-inch tall tires. We have that Bilstein suspension damping system, which also includes adaptive dampers. I have the truck in its sport setting now, where it will automatically adjust the dampers to be in a stiffer setting. I'm going to switch the drive mode here into just, I guess, the automatic setting, and it's going to also turn the traction and stability control back on. And this truck is just a really easy vehicle to drive out on the pavement. I mean, it just tracks down the road really nicely. Even though we've been beating it to hell literally out on the desert at high speed runs, it just feels really solid. There's very little noise in this truck as well in terms of road noise. Right now you're hearing more because of the tires being a little bit deflated, but not much in terms of wind noise. The one thing I do want this truck to make more of is engine noise. I mean, yes, you can pull the paddles here to engage the manual mode, but it's still a little bit too quiet. I mean, yes, the truck itself has a little bit of a louder active exhaust. In sport mode, it's a little bit louder, but I do wish that it was making a little bit more noise. I mean, for the RHO, I was expecting Ram to give us, even more of that straight six snarl, and it does have a little bit, but that's kind of where I think the aftermarket's going to come into play. They're going to make this truck even louder. I mean, if you guys remember the Raptor with its twin-turbo V6, actually almost sounds like a Nissan Z sports car, the way it sounds when it shifts. With it has that shrill of a six-cylinder, but this again has the potential to sound almost like a German, straight six, like a BMW. It has that potential, and it is a pretty potent powertrain. When I tested this vehicle in the limited trim back in Pennsylvania, I was impressed with how quick it is. Now this truck is around 400 pounds heavier versus the limited, but it still feels relatively nimble. It feels, relatively roadworthy as well. Does it feel more comfortable to drive than a Raptor or a TRD Pro Tacoma? I'm not entirely sure. I would have to drive the trucks back to back to kind of figure that out. But I am surprisingly shocked with how good the on-road manners are with this truck. I'm also sitting here in these comfortable seats, which they didn't hold me in place nicely when we were driving aggressively. But here on the road, they are basically like your favorite living room couch. So I can also push this button here and give myself that massage feature, which is also nice. But overall, if you plan to use this primarily out on the road, it's going to be a really great road trip car. Now, I don't have fuel economy real-world testing right now, and that's because we've been beating on this truck all day long. Again, I've been seeing two EPA numbers, either 1521 or 1416. I did notice, however, that even though we've been beating on this truck all afternoon, it only used around 1/8 of a tank of fuel being driven all day off-road today, so that's relatively good. I mean, this is going to be obviously more fuel efficient than the Hellcat V8, even though it doesn't have the sound. It should have pretty similar performance, but ultimately, out here on the road, I think most people are going to find that it basically drives like any other Ram 1500, just with a little bit more ground clearance, a little bit more tire drum from the all-terrain tires. But I think that the Ram team did a phenomenal job at just making this truck feel very daily drivable out on pavement. So here we are on the dry lake bed of Emerson Lake after just spending the day off-roading the new Ram RHO here at Johnson Valley National Park. And I have to say, for those of you who have always had your eye on a Ram TRX but couldn't quite stomach the six-figure price tag, this truck should easily make it to the top of your list. Because as you guys saw, Ram has essentially given this thing all of the off-road hardware from the TRX, except for the fact that it doesn't have that supercharged V8. Now, while some of you who love the Hellcat motor are surely going to miss the snarl and just American muscle of that V8, this new twin-turbo straight six certainly delivers the goods as well. 0 to 60 should happen in the mid 4.5 second range. I'll have to wait till I get one back home to fully test this vehicle, although we got 4.1 seconds in a limited trim, which is a little bit lighter. The handling dynamics of this truck is what really impresses, because those upgraded shocks from Bilstein, the upgraded suspension, those big 35-inch tall tires, this thing eats up any kind of road imperfection, and it really just begs for you to drive it harder, to drive it faster, faster. I mean, hitting 113 miles an hour on this dry lake bed, I was literally sitting there at the edge of my seat with my palms sweating, because literally, if you guys notice that sign over there, if you go right across that 5-foot wall, that barrier there, it's literally a military training base. And we were told that if we go over that, somebody will literally come out, fine us, probably throw us in jail. There's like bombs hidden throughout there. So this is an area of the country in California where I've never been to, but it's just the perfect location to really test out the new Ram RHO. Because as you guys saw, off-road performance is impressive. On-road performance is also great because of the lighter engine at the front. Ram was able to retune the suspension and give this thing a comfortable ride out on the road, and an amazing ride quality when you guys are driving this thing off-road. It's got so much ground clearance, so much capability. Really, you can throw anything you want at this truck, almost anything. And that's exactly why this is Ram's true answer, of course, to the Ford F-150 Raptor. Because while we are expecting the company to eventually bring back the TRX name, although we have no idea what powertrain it's going to have, this is essentially the twin-turbo 6-cylinder competitor to the Raptor, and it has more power versus the Raptor, the Toyota Tundra TRD Pro, and of course a Chevrolet Silverado ZR2 Bison, and of course a GMC Canyon AT4X. Now the beauty about the new Ram RHO is the pricing for this truck, because Ram has essentially given us all the off-road goodies without sacrificing too much of the performance at a significant discount. Because if you want to get your hands on this truck, it's on sale now, and base pricing for the RHO model starts at under $70,000, $69,995. That's almost a $30,000 decrease in price versus a 2024 Ram TRX. The final edition of the Ram was around $120,000 for the TRX. So again, this is a bargain when you look at it compared to its rivals as well, because then a Raptor will cost you about $8,000 more. A Tundra TRD Pro will cost you about $3,000 more. A Silverado ZR2 Bison will cost you around $3,000 more. And then the Canyon AT4X is around $10,000 more. Now, of course, this particular truck that we're showing you here has a pretty good amount of options. That Ram RHO Level 1 upgrade package is 10 grand extra. The wheels are an extra $1,900 with the $2,000 destination charge. This truck here, stickers for around $87,605. So again, it is still pretty expensive at the high end, but if you guys are able to skip the massaging seats, the Harman Kardon stereo, and basically go for the lower trim version of the RHO, you can easily get one of these for the mid $70,000 range. And I think, again, that is the sweet start. It still is a lot of money, but you kind of have to look at the rest of the half-ton segment, because every one of these trucks are basically approaching six figures when you look at a vehicle like this. And Ram, again, delivers all the performance, all the capability at a much lower price tag versus a lot of its rivals. But with all that said, hope you guys have enjoyed my full overview on the brand new 2025 Ram 1500 RHO. If you're also looking to see the latest trucks I'm testing, be sure to follow me on Instagram at redline_reviews, like us on Facebook, and as always, guys, please keep subscribing to the Redline Reviews YouTube channel for all the latest reviews. Thank you so much for watching. We'll catch you all in the next video.